Golf is a game of inches. It can be frustrating, maddening, and downright infuriating at times, but it's also one of the most beautiful sports in the world. Golfers are constantly treated to jaw-dropping moments that make all the bad shots worth it. From Phil Mickelson's miraculous shot at the US Open to Tiger Woods' unbelievable comeback at the Masters, golfers have seen it all. These are some of the most amazing moments in golf that made jaws drop across the globe. Let's start off with Seve Ballesteros, 1980. At the age of just 23, Seve landed his and Europe's first green jacket. He led from day one, and by Saturday night, he was 7 clear. The lead was up to 10 after the front 9, and after a bit of a wobble, he would beat Jack Newton and Gibby Gilbert by 4. If ever there was a green jacket performance, this was it. Seve Ballesteros putting on a clinic Sunday afternoon and cruising home, read the Augusta Chronicle report. What made it all the more impressive was that it was only his second professional start in the States, and he'd never seen Augusta National before. Seve's winning prize was $55,000, and it would be the first of 2 Masters triumphs, though he could have won several more. In the 80s, Ballesteros would finish inside the top 10 7 times. Moving on, we have Jack Nicklaus, 1986. After 3 days, Nicklaus trailed by 4 and set off for his final round alongside Sandy Lyle, with nobody really giving him a chance. The 46-year-old, with his son Jackie on the bag, reached the turn of the 50th Masters in 35, but then birdied 10 and 11 to make it 3 on the trot. He could even afford a bogey on 4 at the short 12th before lighting up Augusta and the sporting world with a ridiculous finish. A birdie at 13, and eagle 2 holes later, he nearly aced the 16th and then rolled in another birdie at the next, and all with an oversized and fairly unsightly McGregor putter. Seve would falter at 15, Tom Kite would just come up short, and Greg Norman would mess up on the 72nd hole, and we had the oldest Masters winner. It would be Nicklaus' 6th green jacket and his final PGA Tour victory. The best I could have done was tie Sandy, and I didn't think that was going to happen, admitted Nicklaus. After Augusta, his form tailed off, and by the end of the year, he had managed just 1 top 10 finish. But no matter, that Sunday in April will never be forgotten by those who witnessed it. Next up, we bring you Larry Mize, 1987. Few would have given the local boy Mize much of a chance as he stood on the 10th tee ahead of a playoff for the Masters with none other than Seve Ballesteros and Greg Norman. The previous year, the Aussie had enjoyed the Saturday Slam, where he led for all 4 majors through 54 holes, but only came away with the Open at Turnberry. Seve exited first after making a bogey, and then Mize flailed one out to the right of the 11th green, while Norman found the edge of the green. But Mize then produced one of Augusta's wonder shots with his 60-degree wedge that was traveling at a good rate before dropping straight in. For Norman, it summed up his luck at the National. It was a key shot, as Mize then holed from 12 feet for birdie on the 12th to take the lead, and went on to beat Norman by 2 shots. On to the next jaw-dropping moment, brought to us by Sandy Lyle, 1988. It's almost impossible not to get stuck in the 80s when you look back at some of the standout moments at Augusta. Sandy Lyle played one of the most iconic shots in the history of the Masters when he smashed a 7-iron out of the fairway bunker at 18 before seeing it roll back down the hill. He would roll in the putt to pip Mark Calcavecchia by 1. Barely a tournament day goes by without mention of Lyle's recovery and the subsequent putt, which we see so many players misread these days. Lyle, the first UK player to win the Masters, would celebrate with a small jig for his second major in 3 years. When asked about the putt after the round, Lyle simply replied, "I had to make that. If I'd missed it, my kids would never have let me forget it." Let's move on to Sir Nick Faldo, 1989. Faldo would win back-to-back Masters, something only Nicklaus and Woods have also managed, and it was his first that stood out for 2 particular reasons. Scott Hotch would miss a particularly short putt on the first playoff hole, and then Faldo would knock in a 25-footer in the gloom at the 11th, a hole he would add a second jacket the following year when Ray Floyd dunked his approach. Faldo doesn't get enough credit for what went on before, as a closing 65 got him into the extra holes, following rounds of 73 and 77. The run would include 4 birdies from the 13th, as his putter warmed up just in time. Next, we have the iconic Tiger Woods, 1995. If there was a defining moment of Tiger Woods' career, then it was his victory at the 1995 Masters. The 19-year-old would hold off rival and eventual world number 1 David Duval, with his 12 under par total giving him a 2-stroke cushion. It wasn't all plain sailing for Woods, who bogeyed the 10th, but 2 eagles in his final 3 holes saw him home. He would finally crack under pressure on the 72nd hole when taking an 8, but it mattered little as he became the youngest player to win golf's first major championship. Tiger Woods' miracles didn't stop there. Let's move forward to 1997. One of the greatest Masters stats is that Woods reached the turn in 40 shots and ended the tournament at a then record 18 under. Woods had already won 3 times in the previous 6 months, but nothing could have prepared us for what was to come. The first round saw a back 9 of 30, day 2 a 66, a 65 would rocket him 9 clear, and he would finish a staggering 12 shots ahead of Tom Kite. It was Woods' first major, and the closest runner-up was Ernie Els, who finished 4 shots back. 1999 was one of those years when everything seemed to come together for Tiger. He would add 6 more wins, including the 2000 US Open, by a record 15 shots. That remains a tournament record, while Dustin Johnson pipped his aggregate in the Winter Masters of 2020. The final round was watched by an estimated 44 million viewers in the United States alone. Moving on, we have another golfing legend, Phil Mickelson, 2004. This was Mickelson's 47th major in total, and there was plenty of chat about whether he would finally get over the line in a big one. The left-hander had been third at Augusta the previous 3 years, but then went berserk on the back 9 to stun Ernie Els. Els had been leading with 2 holes to play and looked like he was going to win, but Mickelson birdied the last 3 for a 69 to take the title. In the week of Arnold Palmer's 50th consecutive and final appearance, Mickelson would birdie 5 of his last 7 holes, climaxing in what was now an iconic jump on the 18th green. He would become just the 3rd left-hander to win a major. He would add 2 more green jackets, and he currently sits on 5 majors. "I just can't believe I pulled it off," said Mickelson after his victory. "To make that putt on the last hole and know that I could have lost really hurt, but to make birdie and come from behind like that is something I'll never forget." Tiger Woods seems to be appearing too many times on the list. Anyway, we have to mention his 2008 victory despite leg issues. 2 images stand out above all others from Tiger Woods' 2008 US Open Championship at Torrey Pines. Neither one has anything to do with Woods beating Rocco Mediate on the 19th hole of a Monday playoff. There is the iconic photo of Woods on the 18th green at Torrey South, pumping both fists and roaring along with the crowd after sinking the 12-foot putt that forced the playoff. The other memorable photos from 2008 show Woods grimacing and at times using his club as a cane whenever he received a pain signal from his ailing left knee. Woods announced 2 days after the tournament that he played with 2 stress fractures in his left leg and a torn ACL that required reconstructive surgery. The stirring victory delivered the 14th major championship for Woods, who still had his sights set on Jack Nicklaus's record 18 major titles. At 32, Tiger was slightly behind the pace of the Golden Bear, who was 30 when he won his 14th major. Finally, we have Tiger Woods again, this time in 2019. Nicklaus had 86. Woods had 2019. 2 heroes of the game and 2 perfect send-offs at Augusta. Woods only had the lead in the final round in what was a star-studded leaderboard. The key hole would turn out to be the 12th, where Brooks Koepka, Ian Poulter, Francesco Molinari, and Tony Finau all ended up wet, while Woods played the percentages and made his par. That kept his lead at 2 shots, and he would hang on to win by 1. It was an epic week, capped off by an epic finish. The Italian led for much of the week, but Woods edged clear with birdies at 13, 15, and 16, where he nearly holed his tee shot. If you watch one thing today, then make it this. We may never see anything like it again. This is all the time we have for today. Like, follow, and comment to let us know which moment is your favorite. Till next time, cheers!